Welcome, 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 you guys. Come on back in. I am back from my anniversary trip. Like I told y'all, I went to Chicago and Dubai. I got back last night, so I'm still got a little bit of jet lag. But I wanted to get this video out because I have missed doing my videos, and I miss doing Ready to Love, and I miss doing Married at First Sight. So I'm trying to get back on track. I'm doing Ready to Love right now. And I'll do Married at First Sight tomorrow for episode 11. I don't think I'm going to go back to episode 10 for those of y'all who watch both of my videos from both of those shows. But I want to talk about this Ready to Love because I actually liked the episode. I just watched it. And this was the girlfriend episode. And I'm like, which girlfriend did it best? Who was the best friend? Who understood the assignment and did it well? Well, I'm going to run it down on what I think, y'all. You know, we the aunties out here, so we got something to say about it. What would you ask, and how did you think these young girls did with their friends? First of all, if you called in to do this job that these friends was called in to do, to me, you should have three things you're trying to do. One, you should definitely be asking some questions of the men. Because sometimes, the girls may not ask the right questions of the men, so the girlfriends are there to make sure they pick up the slack when their girlfriends might be too scared, too timid, or overlooking things and not asking the right questions. But you definitely need to do it with some tact and some class. The second thing you should be doing is you should definitely be promoting your friend, hyping up your friend. It's just like when you have a job interview and people are like, can I call your referrals? Your referrals are there to hype you up. So if your girlfriend ain't hyping you up, she's not doing no good job. And the third thing is, don't do damage. Listen, when girls are trying to maybe get with a guy and a guy is vetting her and she's vetting him, you don't want your friends coming in and doing damage to your case to maybe be with the man that you want to be with. And a lot of girlfriends, they come in and do some damage. Because let's be honest, men judge women not only by the women themselves, but they do judge you by your friends. That's why I be telling women, be very afraid about running in packs of women, because a man will look at you and be like, her girlfriends are ghetto, they loud, who knows? He could be coming up with all types of things, and he will assign some of those traits to you. And it may not be the case, but he will wonder. He'll be like, I haven't seen that in her, but all her friends are like that. So maybe she really is like that too. I'm just telling y'all, that's how it works. That's why you got to be very careful about running in packs with women. Men want to combine them. When men want to combine their lives with you, they're looking at your friends too, because they're like, will my friends get along with her friends? Will my family get along with her family? Could we blend? Could we do all those things? So your friends become a reflection of you. So you want to make sure you chose the right friend. But let's get into all these friends. Let's see how they did and what y'all think. And I'm not going in no particular order. I'm going to go with how they appeared on the screen. So first of all, we're going to start off with Jamala and her friends. And let me tell you, I'm going to give them a good grade, because one thing that they didn't do is they didn't cause any harm whatsoever for Jamala's case with Randall. But I will say this about Randall. I told y'all in my last video about Randall about how I think that he knows how to charm women. One, I think it comes from his background as a personal trainer, and that he has to know how to not offend and charm women, because they are a huge clientele base for personal trainers. And I've always noticed that about personal trainers. Now we find out that Randall was also a professional, a basketball player, or a basketball player. That even adds more information to my story about Randall. Let me tell you about something about Randall. Randall doesn't try. And you can tell by the way he showed up to these friends, because he wasn't even trying to put any effort forward to impress the friends. He showed up in some shorts and some tube socks. And every time I see Randall, his hair looked like he ain't combed it. His beard looked like it's not groomed. Now, I like Randall. He seems like a nice person. He seems genuine. But what I don't like about Randall is Randall doesn't try. I want a man that's motivated and who wants to try. Not only try to impress me, I want him to also try to impress my friends. It doesn't mean that he has to be fake, right? But there's a middle ground between not trying and being fake. I need Randall to put forth a little bit more effort until I'm fully in the Randall boat. So if I'm a friend with Randall, the first thing I'm saying is, girl, he could have at least put on some pants or some nice shorts or something. He looked like he just rolled up out of the bed to come over here. Like he was like, Oh, I got to go meet the friends in 5 minutes. That's what it looked like to me with Randall did. I didn't like that. But I don't think the girlfriends did any damage, so I'm going to give them a point for that. I thought the friends represented Jamala well. I think Randall liked her friends, which means he probably could see their friends and his friends all are joining together. Both of the ladies seemed as if they were married. I noticed they had on wedding rings. I think that boded well for Jamala. So I think she did a good choice in choosing the two friends that she chose to vet Randall. I also thought that Randall was playing a little game when he said that Jamala is like his best friend. How? Y'all ain't even known each other that long. I mean, how long have they been doing this show at this time, y'all? Is this only maybe 2 weeks in? I'm not for sure, but I'm gonna tell you, that's a big statement to make, that Jamala is like his best friend. I think that was said to endear himself to the women, because like I told you, Randall is a charmer, and he knows that a lot of women walk around out here talking about, I want to be best friends with my man, I want to be best friends. And I think that's why Randall said it. You know why I don't believe it, y'all? Because Jamala said herself, she hadn't even asked Randall about his ex-girlfriends. Let me tell you, my best friend knows about all my ex-boyfriends. So I don't know how you could be at the best friend stage and you haven't even talked about past relationships. That means you don't hardly even know them too much, not at all. They're not a best friends level. That's Randall being a charmer. And that's another part about Randall that I always see, is he is a charmer, and he knows he's easy to talk to and he knows the right things to say. But I'm not quite sure if he's always going to be the person that's going to pull the trigger when it comes to a solid relationship. The other part is Randall said he's from DC. Now, we saw last year or last season, we saw how men date in DC. They like all the women to do all the work, and then they sit back. Well, guess what? That's what Randall, that's the vibe I'm starting to get from Randall. Randall don't work hard for women. Not at all. He doesn't do too much. He barely wants to get dressed for y'all. People better watch out for the Randall types. He's nice. He's charming. He's not overt in anything that he does wrong, but that doesn't mean that he's a motivated man. And women, you need motivated men, not men who are just willing to sit back and wait for you to come and take things so cavalier. So that's the part, like I said before, I'm not so sure about Randall. I'm really not. Now we're going to move on to Kadin and her friend Ching. Thumbs down. Horrible job. She did an absolute horrible job. I know a lot of y'all are probably going to be all happy that, you know, they talked about this stuff about Swayze dating non-black women, him going on this little spree where he decided he's going to date non-black women, when before his whole past 10, 15 years of dating life, he dated black women, has a black baby. But y'all gonna concentrate on just the 3 years where he decided, you know what, I might want to try something different. And that's where she stood. She stood talking about that stuff there, and it was a waste of time. And not only was it a waste of time, it didn't make Kadin rise in the favor of Swayze at all. In fact, it knocked her down a peg or two. So in my rules of don't do any harm, she failed. She actually did. She failed. Because what Swayze said when he came in, he said, I'm hoping to meet this girlfriend. And he says, I already have good things to think about Kadin. And I'm hoping this girlfriend will tell me even more good things, which will make her rise in her stature in Swayze's eyes. And in fact, what the girlfriend did was she actually demoted Kadin. So like I said, that girlfriend failed. Even her approach when she said, I'm a gut, I'm like a fish, that was the first sign that she doesn't understand what her assignment is as a friend, vetting a man for her friend, because that's not the position you want to go in. You shouldn't be going in trying to gut people. You should be going in to find out information about them, promoting your friend, okay, so that your friend has the decision to say yes or no. Listen, in the end, women can still say yes or no to a man, but the man has to still choose them first, and then the women can accept or deny. What Kadin's friend did is she can possibly not even get the offer. She could possibly do so much damage that Swayze pulls his offer so Kadin doesn't even get the chance to say yes or no. That is a failure in the assignment. And this other thing about people being mad because Swayze said for the last 3 years he's been on a spree of dating Latina women. Why do women care, black women? Are you afraid that you can't compete with Latino women? You shouldn't care about that. See, that when women are afraid about that kind of stuff, that a man dated white women or Latino women before them, that points to an insecurity. That means you don't think that you can compete with those women. You think that that's what the man likes and he won't like you. Well, listen, Swayze has clearly demonstrated enough that he's really into Kadin. He has dated black women before, so there's no reason to suggest he isn't attracted to Kadin. That was a wasted time to pick apart Swayze on that. And I'm glad Swayze got up and walked away. Women need to stop being afraid of men who tell you the truth. Even if it's something that might sting you or you may not like it, you're encouraging men to lie to you when they tell you the truth and you have that sort of reaction from them. When you have a reaction like they did with Swayze, those type of men start lying to you because they didn't like your response, and so next time they're gonna lie to you. You should always want to be open to the truth, and you need to have a poker face and hold your composure. And instead of that, Kadin started clowning Swayze along with her friend. It was absolutely horrible. Listen, let me tell you something. I never did see Kadin and Swayze together long term. I've been told that they really are dating now in real life. I'm happy for them because I'm happy about when people find love. I hope it sticks. But let me tell you, I'm not for sure Kadin will be the marrying type for Swayze. I can see him dating her. I can see him having a good time with her because she actually seems like she's a fun girl. It seems like they could go out and have a good time and laugh and do a whole lot of things. But is Kadin the marrying type? What she pulled with her friend Ching, right now, I'm going to tell you it's not. Because anybody who puts their man out there like that, a man will not feel safe with her. He will not feel safe with her at all. They kept saying that it was a red flag that Swayze dated a Latino woman in the last 3 years. I don't think it's a red flag. I think their reaction is a red flag. I think Kadin's clowning of Swayze to the point he had to get up and walk away. I think that's a bigger red flag. So sorry, Ching, I'm gonna have to give you a thumbs down. And even when they were in the deliberation room and supposedly Swayze must have called Charisse, I didn't even know that they talked like that, and said that he felt his trust was broken. Like I said, Kadin got knocked down a few pegs in his book. I'm telling you, she might have been knocked down to be the good time girl. Because it doesn't mean he'll break up with you, but it just means he moves you out of the marrying type into the dating type. They'll put you in a box. Just like women have friend zones, men will put you in the zone of the good time girl, sleep with the girl, have fun with the girl, but I'll never marry that girl. And if that's what you're looking for, then go at it. But if you're looking to get married, that friend vetting of Swayze, that did damage. As much as people don't like Charisse and me, I think she's a mean girl. One thing about Charisse has shown up on this show giving some pretty actually good advice to a few people. And I'm going to tell you why I think Charisse does that. Remember, she told Dominica she was too loud, and Dominica didn't want to hear it, but she was actually telling the truth. She just told Kadin that you broke the trust of Swayze. Kadin didn't want to hear it, but she was actually telling the truth. Remember, Charisse was the one that called out, I think she called out Devin, didn't she? I'm not for sure. And she was also the one that eventually pulled out the real rabbit out of the hat with Zoe because she really exposed him, and he showed his whole butt on this show. And it was really because of the interaction with Charisse. Charisse is not afraid of a fight. And for that reason, I actually don't think she makes a good date for Samson, but we're going to get to that. But what she does do is she exposes things. Charisse, I believe, has a thing with women. I don't think she gets along with women that well at all, to be honest with you. Someone told me she used to date football players. You know, Charisse reminds me of this girl. She's 42 and she's a pretty woman. She looks good. I can imagine that Charisse, back when she was in her 20s, she was probably just out here a bombshell. She was dating football players, having a good time. You know, she was probably dating the wrong type of men. And she kind of probably used up her beauty and lots of things on some men she shouldn't have. And I believe over time, Charisse has had to compete with a lot of women. And she's also developed this mean girl. So she looks at women as her competition, her enemy, when she doesn't really need to do that, because she really does come at women kind of hard. But here's the thing about Charisse. Because Charisse is always on so edge and ready for a fight, she peeps out people real fast. She probably hasn't been able to trust a lot of women, so she tries to size up women real quickly. And sometimes I think she creates enemies with women she doesn't need to, because she doesn't know how to get along well with other women. But what she told Kadin was the truth about how she broke Swayze's trust. Now, Charisse's friend was Rochelle. Now, let me tell you something about Charisse. Charisse knows how to play the game. Like I said, keep in mind, I know that Charisse is a mean girl, but Charisse can act her butt off. She knows how to clean it up when she needs to clean it up. And when Samson comes around, let me tell you, Charisse cleans it up. Charisse did a good choice in picking Rochelle as her friend. Now, first of all, I'm not even sure Charisse and Rochelle are really good friends. You know why I don't think so? because when her friend came to the door, Charisse didn't even give her a hug. You know, that sounds small, that sounds petty. You may think I'm petty, but listen, I look at that as an indication. I don't think Charisse is a warm-hearted person. When my best friend or good friend comes to the door and we see each other, we greet with a hug. And that's the type of person I am. And a lot of girlfriends, when they see their good girlfriends, they greet them with a hug. It's what a lot of women do. So I'm not for sure how good a friend she is with this woman. Like I tell you, I think Charisse has problems making girlfriends, period. So I'm not for sure how close she is with this woman. But in her choice of her, she did a good job. This girl, this lady, was a good representation for Charisse. This young lady was warm and she was inviting. In fact, this lady hugged Samson. And so I think that she was a good representation. She didn't do any harm to Charisse. She actually elevated Charisse and she asked good questions. So when you compare this friend to the friend that Kadin has, it's the complete opposite. Her friend Rochelle actually helped elevate Charisse in the eyes of Samson more so than Kadin's friend did for her in the eyes of Swayze. And in fact, when Samson left, he said, oh, I think that she's an upstanding, outstanding person or whatever he said. He had a high respect for this woman. And he said, well, wow, maybe there'll be a wedding one day. I don't know about that, Samson. But anyway, the fact of the matter is the friend Rochelle did her job and she did it well. The reason I also know Charisse isn't a good friend because it came out her friend's mouth, Rochelle. And what she said was her friend Rochelle told her, just keep pushing herself. You know what that is? That means pushing herself out of her comfort zone. She was telling Charisse, you need to come out from the person you normally are and be a different person and keep pushing yourself towards this new person. And you know what that new person is? She's trying to tell her to be a nice person because her real life, Charisse's real life is she's a mean girl. Just like I told you last show, no simpatica. She's not nice. And her girlfriend knows it. And her friend is saying, you need to come from being that mean girl to being a nice girl. Keep pushing yourself into a new direction. All this stuff women talk about, I want to be myself. I want a man to accept me as I am. Those women will stay stuck. Everybody needs to change something about themselves. So women need to recognize what they need to change about themselves and start to become that. And that's what Charisse's friend Rochelle is trying to tell her. You need to push yourself out of that old Charisse and be a new person. But I know who Charisse is. Now, Trinika, let's go on to Trinika. You know what? I really liked Trinika in the beginning, but I'm starting to realize I'm having an issue with Trinika. She's reminding me of the DC girls last year, the Dakias of the world who like to chase men. She's too much. She's over here talking about go deep with LJ. I like you when you go deep, all this sex talk. She's falling all over LJ. I don't like it. I don't like any of it at all. And I can actually absolutely see the problem she has in dating. But I'm going to talk about the girlfriends and see how they did their job. She had two friends, Dr. Bridges, and then she had the other girl who was the pilot, who was a bit aggressive. So I have mixed opinions about these two friends. First of all, I think Dr. Bridges is married because she looked like she had on a wedding ring and looks like the pilot lady is single. So when LJ first walks up, the pilot lady says, okay, pink man, because LJ had on a pink shirt. I didn't like that because in a lot of ways, that's sort of clowning LJ straight from the beginning. And let me tell you, that would be considered doing harm. I think her questions were good about, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Would you be Trinika's shield? All those questions were fine. I didn't mind those questions. And of course, Justice the Joker had crazy answers. So I applaud them for peeping out Justice and telling her friend Trinika the straight truth about he is a joker. And that they said he's full of bullshit. And they could tell from the rooter to the tutor or whatever else that he's full of it. And I was happy that they told her the truth. Because one thing they know about their friend Trinika, which we're also seeing, is she doesn't have a good discernment. She doesn't have good judgment. She likes to chase men. So, of course, she would be so much more into Justice because he's the one she's going to have to chase. When they told her that LJ was a better fit because LJ looked like he was genuinely interested in her, her face went sour because Trinika doesn't want to go with LJ. Trinika wants to chase a Justice. And I like that Dr. Bridges peeped out Randall. She said, you know what? Randall seems like a nice guy, but he's a ladies' man and he's a charmer. Bing, 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 bing. Go ahead, Dr. Bridges. It's the same thing I say about Randall. Doesn't mean we don't like Randall, but we can see that Randall is a charmer. The problem with Randall is, just like Dr. Bridges said, I don't know if he can deliver on half the stuff he says. Now, one thing I didn't like about the friends, and I think it was the pilot, once again, who had did the most harm to Trinika, is she brought up the fact that Trinika had kissed a Randall, that there had been some kissing, and she did that in front of not only LJ, but also did it in front of Justice. That's doing harm. You should not be bringing up what type of physical intimacy your friend has had with other men in front of new men. Absolutely not. So in that respect, I give that friend, the pilot, a thumbs down. She actually, even though she was aggressive and she peeped out Justice and her whole, ooh, I think she was right on point. She actually did harm in several areas for Trinika that I actually didn't like. So in terms of their assignment for Trinika's friend, I'll have to give them a thumbs up for telling her the truth about Justice, and also telling her that actually LJ is the better man between the two, and also peeping out the fact that Randall might be playing some games. I give them a thumbs up on that. But I give them a thumbs down because I don't think they hyped up Trinika a lot. And I also think they did a bit of damage with Trinika in the eyes of LJ, because what it looked like was Trinika is all over the place and doing the same thing with a lot of other men, which means none of the men will feel special with Trinika because she actually fawns over all the men. So I don't know. That's, like I said, thumbs up, thumbs down, very mixed. On to Kayla. Kayla's friend was Kelly. I really like Kayla. Like I said, she's the young one on here. She's having a bit of a difficulty finding her match. I actually don't think either of these men she's interested in, Mike or Randall, is a good fit for Kayla. And I'll tell you about the friend Kelly. Wrong dress. Let me tell you something, women. If you're here vetting for a friend, you should not be bringing attention to yourself. And that dress the friend had on Kelly, showing all the underboob, was inappropriate. Okay, it has nothing to do with I'm insecure and all this other kind of stuff. And that's not it at all. The attention should be on the girlfriend. The attention should be on Kayla. You should be letting Kayla shine. It's just like on a wedding day at a wedding. You shouldn't be up there trying to upstage the bride, even if you are cute and you got it. That shouldn't be your goal. And I don't like the dress that Kelly chose to come to the date with. I didn't like it. Now, once she got to the date, I think she asked some good questions, and I think she peeped out a few things. I think she did a good job there. I think that she didn't do any harm to Kayla at all. I think she gave her some good advice, and I think they had a nice little bonding moment at the end when they both cried and all that. But more so, I realized in this episode, Mike is not the man for Kayla, and I'm glad her friend told her that. Mike doesn't even know what Pinot Grigio is. Kayla is way higher in the sophistication level than Mike. It's no shade on Mike, but Mike needs more of an around-the-way girl. You remember LL Cool J, a girl on the bus stop sucking on a lollipop? That really is more the girl for Mike. That's why I think he bonds better with Brandi. We're going to get to that as well. Because like I said, Brandy's more of an around the way girl. And that's not Kayla. They really don't have enough in common to make it. Brandi and Mike is not really even interested in Kayla. He keeps saying it over and over again. I'm on the fence. You're not on the fence. You just saying that. He's not interested in Kayla long term, because what Mike realized is that Kayla really is out of his league. He don't even know what Pinot Grigio is, y'all, at 42. They're not in the same level. They're not in the same level. And once again, Randall showed up not trying, in some shorts with some holes in them and a t-shirt and an uncombed hair and ungroomed beard, saying, I'm here as I am, accept me as I am. No. And then he's running around telling Kayla, I think the friend asked, is Kayla your top? He says, she's one of them. No, and saying that the reason why they haven't got to know each other, they haven't had any one time. That's not true, Randall, because you know what? You call and talk to Jamala every single day. So you could have been making the same phone calls to Kayla. So just like you found time to be with Jamala and talk to her every single day so that she's your best friend, you could have done the same thing with Kayla. I'm quite sure Kayla is not rejecting no phone calls from Randall. But once again, Randall knows how to talk. He just doesn't know how to walk the walk. I'm pretty much know who Randall is by now. And let me tell you, Randall was irritated by Mike. When Mike was talking about the reason why he's not really too much sold on Kayla is because her lips was on Zoe and her lips were on Randall. You know what? There may be a little bit to that, but that's just an excuse. Mike doesn't really want to say the real reason he doesn't want to be with Kayla. That's because she's 30 years old. She wants a family. She wants a kids. And socioeconomically, Kayla's not in the same bracket as him. Like I said, he don't know what Pinot Grigio is. He's a no for Kayla. And that crying at the end that Kayla did, I think what she came to realize, like her friend was saying the whole time, she was looking at Mike, but she wasn't looking at Randall. I think what Kayla has come to realize is it's over for her, because the guy that she really would try to be with is Randall, but she absolutely knows within her gut, in her heart, that Randall has eyes only for Jamala. She knows that, and she also knows that Mike is not the one for her. So even though she's still here, she pretty much realizes now it's over for her. She's crying and she's saying she wants to do something different, to pick the guy who she should and not the one she shouldn't. Well, this show is demonstrating with women exactly what I've said. Women, you are not the choosers. And it is demonstrated right here, right now with Kayla and Randall. Kayla would choose Randall, but Randall is not choosing Kayla. The men are the choosers, lady. And you know what Justice says? It Justice says, you know, I'm the chooser, and women need to position themselves. I know it sounds harsh. We hate Justice. We hate the way he talks. But that point he is making is the truth. The men choose. The men put the offer forward, and the women then have the right to reject or accept the offer of the men. And that's what Kayla is realizing right now, that she can't do anything until Randall puts forth the offer, and he hasn't done it. I disagree with Justice on a whole lot of things, but that point right there when he says men are the choosers is absolutely correct. But I don't like the way that he uses his positional power as the male in this situation, because you can be in power, you could be the leader, you could be the one that is maybe able to carry more of the weight, just like if a man were the head of a household because he makes more money. But that doesn't mean you have to use it as a billy club and hit people over the head with it, just like a boss. A boss doesn't have to tell you, I'm the boss, do what I say. And what Justice does is he recognizes that he is the man and he does get to do the choosing. But unfortunately, he uses that power to hit women over the head with it, as if now the women aren't worth anything. And that there is the problem with Justice. He doesn't value women. Even though he is a chooser, he doesn't value women, and that's a problem. But poor Kayla, it's over for her, because I don't see Randall choosing her, and Mike is absolutely not the person for her, and I don't see Mike choosing her either. Her match is not here. She's going to have to keep looking. Next, we have Brandi and Dakota, as Brandi calls her, two flats on a Cadillac. I told y'all, Brandi got this ghetto side, and let me tell you, when her friend showed up, nice woman. Okay, people, don't get mad at me. Nice woman, red braids. Let me tell you, it just further solidified the fact with me that Brandi has this little part of her that's a little bit sort of ghetto and street. Let me tell you, back in the day, Brandi would have been sent to charm school. I'm telling you, people, back in the day of where women were more demure and things, Brandi would have been sent to charm school, because Brandi is pretty. She has a nice heart to her. She has a nice body. She has lots of different things. But Brandi has this ghetto side to her that I'm absolutely positive has hurt her in the dating world, because it attracts a certain type of man, and it's the man that Brandi doesn't even want, but it's what's attracting a certain type of man. Brandi needs to refine herself, and once she does that, I'm telling you, she will have a winner on her hands. But she needs to recognize that. This is another reason why Mike likes Brandi, because Brandi feels like he's more in her league. Because like I said, Mike don't know Pinot Grigio, so he's like, I might need to be with the Brandi type, because Brandi may not know what Pinot Grigio is either, and so they fit well together. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not even sure Mike's a good fit for Brandi, because Mike doesn't want to have kids. He's got 3 kids. He doesn't want to have to pay for a college education for four kids. That's a lot of money going out your paycheck to 3 kids. And now you want to possibly add 1 or 2 more kids. That's very expensive to have to pay for 5 kids out here in the world today. That's a lot of money. And Samson sees the handwriting on the wall when he was there as well. He saw that the connection between Brandi and Mike is way stronger than what the connection is with him and Brandi. He absolutely recognizes it. Now, Dakota, the friend, you know what? She didn't come out and say who she should be with. Was it Mike or was it with Samson? So I'm going to give you my opinion. If I were Brandi's auntie, I would tell her this. I would say, listen, you don't need to be with Mike. I know you may like him. I know you may make me physically attracted to him, but women need to start picking husbands on something more than physical attraction. You need to pick husbands based on the life you want to have for yourself. Can this man deliver it to you? Unfortunately, Mike has lived a good portion of the life already. He's been married for a long time. He's had 3 kids. And Brandi hasn't even begun these parts. She hasn't even had a boyfriend. I honestly don't think that Brandi's life and Samson's life would fit together. Samson seems like a way more sophisticated person. I'm not quite sure I can see Brandi and her friend Dakota with the red braids fitting into Samson's life. But let me say this. Let's say by chance Samson did say, I want to choose Brandi. You know what Brandi should do? She should absolutely go with Samson. Because it's almost like a My Fair Lady situation where Brandi would be elevated. When I'm talking about the sophistication and the refinement that Brandi needs, if there were a person like a Samson who said, I know she's not there yet, but I want to elevate this woman. I want to bring her up like the My Fair Ladies stories, Brandi should go for it. Because being with a man like Samson, she would rise in stature. She would rise in sophistication. It is Samson who will be taking the risk on her and not her taking the risk on Samson. When she's with Mike, Brandi is taking the risk on Mike, not him taking a risk on her. I'm not even sure Brandi will recognize the difference because one thing she said was she didn't even know that Samson was interested in her because Samson is interested in getting to know a person on the inside and asking you questions and all that kind of stuff. See, Brandi is used to men who show their interest in her by her body and physical stuff. So when a guy comes around and shows interest in her intellect, her mind, her heart, her desires, she doesn't even recognize the interest. She's so used for men choosing her based on her body that she doesn't recognize other genuine men. Brandi needs some help out here in the dating world because not only is she picking the wrong men, she's actually not even noticing men who may like her, who like her for more than her body. She's got a lot of work to do. I really like her, but she has a lot of work to do if she really wants to find the man that will be good for her. And it's funny because Brandi accidentally kissed Samson, or he accidentally kissed her. I wonder what Mike will think because he just said that he didn't like Kayla because her lips were on Randall or on Zoe. Wait till he finds out that Brandi's lips have been on Samson. Is he going to drop her? No, he's not, because that's just an excuse over there with Kayla. He ain't going to drop her once he finds out Samson accidentally kissed Brandi. Not at all. Lastly, we get to Looney and Ebony. Mixed reaction here. I didn't like the whole sex conversation about can you wait for sex. You don't need to be in their bedroom. That is not an appropriate question for a girlfriend to ask about when y'all gonna have sex. Inappropriate, it did harm. Because what you're saying is you're actually telling on your girlfriend that when you're asking about hit it or quit it, are you telling me that's a problem Looney has had, hit it or quit it? You should not be bringing up your friend's sexual history to new men. You should not be bringing up sex at all with a man that your girlfriend is becoming interested in. It's not appropriate at all. So in that respect, I think the friend failed. And all that mumbo jumbo that, what's his name, when Justin was talking about, I don't have sex, I have sex just talking to you, looking at you. And then talking about LJ as well, asking him the questions. And in the end, that friend said Justice was the better match. Like I said, a fail. And to say that Looney would run over LJ, now that's the truth. Now that's the truth. I said that 2 episodes ago. Looney would absolutely run over LJ. She has friend zoned LJ. And so now the only person left is Justice, and she felt that Justice was the better fit for Looney because Looney's wild. That's why. Absolutely not. He's not a good fit for her. They should not be together. Justice ain't ready for no one. And then when I heard Looney say, when Trinika said her friends called Justice the Joker, and Looney in her confessional said that basically Trinika was a hater because just because Justice isn't checking for her. No, Looney, no. He's a joker, period. It doesn't matter whether he's checking for a girl or not. He ain't checking for me, and I'm calling him a joker. And I'm not a hater. I'm not hating on you with Justice. He's a joker, a period. Looney's picker is wrong as well. Maybe that's why she's been in hit it or quit it relationships. And that friend that she brought was not a good representation. And I don't think that she did a good job in vetting the men at all. In the end, if I had to pick two of the best friends who did the best job, I would absolutely have to say it's a tie between Charisse's friend Rochelle and the tie between Jamala's friends. I forget their names of the two ladies. I think they did a good job at hitting on all three marks that I talk about, not doing any harm, pumping up your friends, and also asking questions. And if I really had to give it to someone, I probably would have to give it to Rochelle, who is Charisse's friend, because I think Jamala is already a nice person. So I don't think that the friends had to do a lot of things to turn Jamala's image around, because I think she is a nice person. But Rochelle's friend absolutely made Charisse look better. Even though I'm telling you, that girl was a mean girl. She needs an Academy Award. But that's it, y'all. What do you think? Which friend do you think did the better job, and who do you think failed at this assignment? That's it. Talk to y'all later. Bye.